Hello. Hello. Hello, my students. How are you? I hope you are well. Today is Thursday, April the 9th, and welcome back to our last day of videos for this week. You've made it through 2 weeks of distance learning. Scaylord is very proud of you, and I know your parents are too. Today, when you do your good job, we are going to build a unicorn. Okay, so I know a lot of my girls like unicorns, so I picked this today for you, and then we'll pick something for the boys next time. Okay, so we're going to build a unicorn, each subject that you do a good job with. Okay, all right, let's begin. So I've been reading you this book, Scampering Through Savannah, this week. I told you it was written by a friend of mine and her husband, and we've gotten to visit several places since we're kind of stuck at home right now. We visited places through our book. We visited River Street with Olivia and Noah, and then we visited some of the ships down there at the river. We visited the Pirate's House where you can go and have a good meal. We visited the birthplace of Juliet Gordon Low. Yes, good. Then we visited the statue of Oglethorpe, and that's in what square? Chippewa Square. Great. And then we went out to Tybee Island, and we saw the lighthouse, the oldest lighthouse in Georgia. From there, we saw this fort that was used during the Civil War. It was called Fort Pulaski, and you can still go visit it today. Then we got on a trolley and we rode back to downtown Savannah, and we found the Railroad Museum, right? Okay. Then today we're going to finish out the book. And they visited the trains at the Railroad Museum. Well, I'm getting hungry, said Noah. We better head back. Do you smell that, Noah? Olivia said as she sniffed the air. I sure do. It sounds like some really good Southern cooking. Noah said, and the smell is coming from that restaurant. Let's go see. Do you know what that says? The Lady and Sons. Yes. This is delicious, Olivia mumbled with a mouthful of macaroni and cheese. Yes, this is the best fried chicken I've ever tasted, said Noah. I wish Mom would make this chicken like this at home. Maybe we can get her a cookbook with these recipes before we leave town. Great idea, said Olivia. Look, Olivia, there's the big oak tree. Look, there's the oak tree we climbed by our hotel. Let's hurry, Olivia said. We better get back to our room before Mom and Dad wake up and start to worry about us. Great, kids. I'm glad you're awake, the mother said. It's time for us to get going. There are so many neat places around Savannah that we want to visit. I hope that you are rested up. Olivia and Noah just looked at each other and they smiled. This book highlighted places around our town, Savannah. Okay, so I hope that you have learned something while Miss Gaylord shared that book with you. Okay, well, it's time for us to get our paper and pencil out, and it's time to begin with our Riggs words. Now, we've gotten all 3 sets of words. Now, make sure that you have typed them into the Riggs document. If for some reason the Riggs document does not work, then you can always type them into a regular Google Doc, and you can send them to me, okay? You can send them just to me, and you were supposed to write the words, and you were supposed to write 3 sentences with them, okay? So you can make sure that you turn that in. If for somebody said that they were not able to write on the document, so you can just make your own document and then email me that, and then I'll give you credit for that as well, okay? All right, very good. All right, so let's get our paper and pencil ready. I'm ready to begin. with number 1. And if Miss Gaylor is going too fast, you press pause on the video and you can catch up when you can, okay? All right, number 1, cabbage. Cabbage. The cabbage grew in the garden. Number 2, careful. Careful. Be careful not to drop the pot. Number 3, cough. Cough. Always make sure to cover your mouth when you cough. Cough. Number 4, shift. Shift. We had to shift gears. Shift. Number 5, blimp. Blimp. I saw the blimp in the Thanksgiving Day parade. Blimp. And number 6, hatch. Hatch. The chicken will hatch after 28 to 30 days. Hatch. Number 7, tender. Tender. The green beans were cooked long and were very tender. Tender. Number 8, window. Window. The window was broken and I could not let the fresh air in. Window. Number 9, cousin. Cousin. My cousin came to spend the night. Cousin. Number 10, operate. Operate. The doctor could operate on his patients. Operate. Number 11, grape. Grape. Have you heard the fable about the fox and the grape? And number 12, grade. Grade. You have made a good grade on your paper. Number 13 through 18 will all have to do with money. Okay. Number 1, penny, penny. Number 2, nickel. I'm sorry, that was number 14. Nickel, nickel. Number 15, dime, dime. Number 16, quarter, quarter. Number 17, dollar, dollar. And number 18, money, money. Okay, now if you will check your 18 words, don't forget to look for correct spelling. Did you dot the I's? Did you cross the T? Were there any words this week that were capitalized? No, there were not. Very good. Okay, so turn your paper over and I want you to practice your 2 sentences of dictation. Okay? Remember, with dictation, Miss Gaylor calls out the sentence. You can repeat the sentence and then you write every word. What are some things we remember when we write dictation? We remember a capital letter, an end mark, and any other punctuation. Is there a comma? Is there an apostrophe? Any other punctuation, okay? And Miss Gaylor is going to ask you afterward what kind of sentence that she called out, okay? Just 2. So number 1, be careful not to drop the pot. Be careful not to drop the pot. Be careful not to drop the pot. One more time. Check every word. Be careful not to drop the pot. What does this sentence end with? A period. Very good. What kind of sentence is this? A command. When you tell someone to do something, we call it a command, okay? You'll learn that a command sentence is called an imperative sentence, okay? If you need to pause and catch up, press pause. Number 2, do you have a nickel I can give my cousin? Do you have a nickel I can give my cousin? Do you have a nickel I can give my cousin? One more time. Do you have a nickel I can give my cousin? What do you need to end this sentence with? What kind of punctuation mark at the end? A question mark. Very good. Okay. What kind of sentence is a sentence that asks a question? Okay. You could call it a question sentence or an interrogative. Interrogative. Very good. Okay. You wrap that up and let me give you one more sentence to tell Mrs. Gaylor what kind of sentence is this. Okay. It is very sunny today. What kind of sentence is that? It is a telling sentence, or we call it a declarative sentence. Very good. A declarative sentence. Okay. You did a great job with dictation and Riggs today. I'm going to give you the head of your unicorn. Now you have the first part. You've got your first star. Good job. Very good. Okay. Now, today, we are not going to do our sound cards, but if you need to review those, you can play back one of the other videos and you can do those as well at home. Now, today, I hope that you have been doing your iReady reading and math. Remember, Mrs. Gaylord has asked you to do 20 minutes a day or 80 minutes by the end of the week. So on Friday, Miss Gaylor will look up on the website how many minutes you've put in. Now, she sees that some of you are working hard on that. Thank you. She also sees that some people have a 0 at how many minutes. So every time that goes in the grade book every week. So do your minutes of iReady reading and iReady math, okay? Now, the MobyMax is also, if you have time to do the VAC Fluency, do so, but you're supposed to put in 20 minutes for social studies and 20 in science for the whole week, okay? Now, when you have done those websites, you need to go to the Turn In button for the week and press the button Turn In. Now, Miss Gaylor can look them up too, and she will, but make sure that you're always pressing, get in the habit of clicking the Turn In button. Even when you watch these videos or anything else that we do, make sure that you are clicking the Turn In button, okay? All right. So today I want to review a little bit of math. Now, Miss Gaylord found this little, this is a disposable muffin tin. Excuse me. And I mentioned something about practicing your change. You see how I've written some change inside the holes? Now, you can do this if you have little you can cut circles and you can put them in one of Mom's muffin tins, or you can, if you have some people have cupcake wrappers, the papers, you can also write them on these and stick them in. And that's a good way to check, okay? So I have just taken this to practice. Can you see the first one says 63 cents? So Miss Gaylord asked you to get out your change from around your house, if you have any, and count out 63 cents. And let's put them in my muffin tin here, okay? 63 cents. Okay, what would I start with? Okay, you want to start with the biggest coin first, okay? So how much is this coin worth? 25, okay? And then I would put another 25. So now I have how many in the tin? I've got 50 cents. Okay, I'm trying to get to 63 cents. Okay, so now I have 1/4. I've got 25 cents plus another 25 cents, which gives me 50 cents. Okay, so what would my next piece of change be? Okay, 1 dime. I put in 1 dime and now I have 60 cents. And I'm trying to get to 63 cents. Do I need to put in a nickel? Nope. A nickel would give me too much, 65 cents. Do I need to put in a dime? Nope, that would be too much. That would be 70 cents. So I choose the penny. Okay, I now have 61 cents in. Put in 1 penny, that's 61, 62, and 63. And then you can have somebody check it, okay? So when I go back to check, have mom or dad check and see. Is that 63 cents? Yes, it is. Okay, let's do another one. The next one says $1.26. Now, I don't want to use my dollar bill. I want to use some change. What's the best way I can make a dollar with the least bit of change? Okay, I can use my quarters, right? Okay. 1 quarter would be 25, 50, 75, a dollar. Good. Now I'm trying to get to $1.26. What's the best way I can make $1.26 by using the least amount of change? Now there's 2 ways. I can choose 2 ways to make that 26 cents. I can choose to use 2 dimes, 20 plus 5 plus 1. That's a way to make 26 cents, okay? Or I can choose to use the other method of a quarter, which is 25, and a penny, which would be 26. So I'm going to drop these in. That's the least amount of coins that I can use. I used here 5 quarters and 1 penny. My next one says 17 cents. What would be a way I could make 17 cents? Can I use my quarter? Nope, too big. Can I use my dime? Yes. Okay. How much is my dime worth? 10 cents. Okay. So I've got 10 cents. Then I'm trying to get to 17. Should I use another dime? Nope. That's 20 cents. Should I use a nickel? Yes. Okay. So I want to add 5 more cents. Now I have how much? 15. What would be the next piece I need to use? Okay. A penny. And I've got 1 penny. And is that going to be enough? That's 16 cents. Nope. I need to add 1 more. Now I've got my 17 cents. I've got a dime, a nickel, and 2 pennies. Now, this is an easy activity. You can make at home while you're working at home, and you can make something like this, or you can just write it on paper and drop it on. You don't have to have one of these, but if you do, try to get creative and do something maybe a little bit different and fun, okay? So that's our money for today. Okay, very good. All right, let's review a little bit with our time, okay? Our time. Scalar is going to start with a hard one. Let's start with this time. Can you tell what time it is? Okay, we need to look at 2 hands. What's the shorthand called? The hour hand. It's between the 8 and the 9. What time would that be? 8 something. Good. Okay, let's look at the long hand. What's the long hand called? The minute hand. Now, it's 2 minutes past the 11. What time would you say that is? Somebody said 9:57. That's not right. Actually, it's almost to the 9, but it's actually 8:57. It's in between the 8 and the 9, almost to the 9. But look, once it gets to the 12, then this will be at the 9. So it's 3 minutes before the hour, which makes it 8:57. Good job. Keep working with your clocks, okay? If you have a chance, have somebody draw them out. What kind of clock is this? Analog. Very good. It's different than a digital clock. Perfect. Okay. Very nice. All right. High five for that part of the math review. Okay, let's go on to another part of review, and let's look again at our shapes, okay? We're going to use these today with the last activity of the week with our shapes, okay? Let's start with our shapes some are straight-sided figures and some are not. Okay, Give me something that these shapes have in common. Look at these three shapes. Okay, what do they have in common? Do we call that the compare part or the contrast? What do they have in common? That's the compare part. Okay, compare them. Okay, what is it? Say it out loud. They have four sides. Very good. Okay, so we call four-sided figures that are straight, we call them quadrilaterals. Very good. Okay. Now, why is this quadrilateral different? Contrast it to this one. Why are they different? Okay. They do both have four sides. That's the same. That's not a difference. So the difference would be in a square, the sides are the same length. Very good. Very good. Okay, a square. This quadrilateral is called a trapezoid. Very good. Now, are all these sides the same length? No. Okay. Two sides are what we call parallel, and two sides are not parallel. Very good. Okay. What about this quadrilateral? You say it looks like a diamond. It does. We have a name for this one. This one is called the rhombus. Okay, on the rhombus, you have these two sides are parallel and the other two sides are parallel. Very good. Okay, what is this figure called? This is called my hexagon. Correct. It has how many sides? 6. And how many angles? 6. We call those angles or vertices. Okay. All right. Let's say this was my other shape. Okay, and if it was this, it looked like this, it would be called a five-sided shape, which is called a pentagon. Pentagon, perfect. What's a three-sided shape? A triangle. Are all triangles what we call equilateral or equal-sided? Nope, we have some triangles with long sides and some with short. Is this a straight-sided figure that we call a polygon? No, the sides are curved. Very good. Okay. This week we've been talking about rectangles and how we make up rectangles. We talked about rectangles are different than squares because they have lengths of different measures. Okay. So a square would see how these little squares inside the rectangle all have the same length of sides. Okay. The rectangle, though, has two sides that are the same length and then two sides that are not the same, that are different lengths. Okay? So now, how many squares can fit in this rectangle? 8. Very good. What do we call this? What do we call this? This is called a row. Very good. A row. What do we call this? This is called a column. Okay. How many rows does this rectangle have? 2. 1, 2. Very good. Okay. How many how many squares are in each row? 4. 4. Very good. Okay. How many total? 8. One way we learn to find the total number of squares in a rectangle, if they're the same size, is you can count the number in the row, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can also count the number in the column, and you can what we call multiply them, 4 times 2, or you could say 4 plus 4. And you'll learn that next year in 3rd grade. 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, so there are 8. Now, yesterday, we also talked about how they ask you if you could fit. Okay, what if you choose the same size rectangle? Okay, and how many squares can you make out of that rectangle? Now, look at this. Okay, this one is also a rectangle shape, but are these squares? No, these are rectangles. So I cannot make an equal number of squares out of that rectangle. Instead, I have to make sure they are squares. Now, are those shaped squares? Yes. Okay. How many squares are in that rectangle? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay. Very good. Now, today we're going to see about how we can look at a rectangle and tell if the shapes are the same. Would that be the correct number of squares? 1, 2, 3. We learned this yesterday. No. Why? Because this shape is not the same as the squares. So this shape would not be correct. Okay, when you take a rectangle and divide them up into squares is the lesson that we're going to be on today. If you have printed out your book page today, and we are on 263. 263. Okay, if you need to take a quick pause before we start, get a sip of water or take a break, do so. Okay, now, today we have a couple of problems that I want you to look at with me. Now, we have different shapes that I want to look at today, okay? I'm going to have to show you my shapes. They're not going to be the exact one, but if this is a 3, this is the green one, okay? This one is, if I were to take a ruler and measure this was 3 centimeters, okay? The green one in the book is worth 3 centimeters, okay? The orange one is a square of 4 centimeters. It's bigger than the green one, okay? It's 4 centimeters, and then it's purple, and I have a blue one, but it's purple in the book. This is kind of purplish blue, okay? This one is 5 centimeters. Do you see how they're different sizes? 3, 4, and 5 centimeters. They're different sizes, okay? So here's the question. Sue is making a mosaic design. She has squares that are the sizes below. 1, 3 centimeters, 1, 4, and 1, 5. But she can only use squares that are all the same size. Okay, so she's got to decide which squares she can use in the rectangle. I'm going to use this again as my rectangle shape, even though this is curved on the ends. Just pretend that this is straight, okay? So I can draw them out for you. Okay, so we have this rectangle, and we know that the length across is 24 centimeters. Okay, the book says it's 24 centimeters. Okay, and we know that this width here is worth 12 centimeters. Okay, so it's longer across the top, the length, than it is across the width here. Okay, so we've got 24 and 12. Now, if these were all worth 1 centimeter, you would be able to fit 24 of them across, but they're not. Do you see that this square is 3 centimeters? So the question is, can Sue use these 3 centimeter squares to line them up across the rectangle? Can she use the 3 centimeter squares? Can she use the 4 centimeter squares? And can she use the 5 centimeter squares? Okay. So that's the question. She cannot mix the colors. She cannot put them together. And we want to know if she will be able to do that. And we want to use the rectangles to draw out our picture. Okay. All right. So now look at part A in your book. Can Sue use the 3 centimeter squares to make her design? If so, how many will she need? You can use the rectangle to draw a picture, okay? All right, so I know that it's got to measure out to be 24 across. Okay, so what if I put in 1 of the 3? Okay, I'm going to write 3 on it. How many centimeters so far do I have? 3. Okay, what if I put in another one? How many centimeters would that be? 6. Okay, 3 plus 3 is 6. If I put another one next to it, 6 plus 3 is 9. Good. Okay, if I put another one, 12, another one, 15. Okay, another one, 18. Very good. We're just counting by threes. Another one, 21, and another one, 24. Did I end on the 24 without any going over? Yes. Okay. So would the 3-centimeter tile work to make 24 centimeters? Yes. Okay. Very good. It would work across. Now it has to work down as well. Now I'm looking for 12 centimeters this way. Okay. So let's try it this way. 3 plus 3 would be 6. Very good. Okay. 6 plus 3 would be 9. Great. And 9 plus 3 would be 12. Okay. Does that work? 24 for the length and 12 going down there. Okay. Yes. Very good. Now my rectangle would, let's just cut it off here. That would be the size. Okay. So just pretend this bottom part's not here. Okay. So you can see that if I used this 3-centimeter piece, that it would work. It would work. Why? Because I ended up on a 24 here and a 12 here. Okay. Now, how many rows would this have if I drew them all out? How many rows would it have? Okay, just say it out loud. 4. Very good. Okay, it would have 4. Do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many columns going this way? In other words, how many, if I had to draw, I would have to draw how many columns? Can you count them? I would draw 8. 8. Okay, so in your rectangle on your paper, you probably have drawn the same shape. So draw this if you haven't. You can press pause if you need to. Make sure that you have 4 rows going across and that you have 4 squares going down. 8 different columns. Okay, so the 3 centimeters would work. Let's write that in our answer in a complete sentence for part A. Can Sue use the 3-centimeter square to work? You would say yes. Yes in your answer. Sue can use the 3-centimeter square. Why? Okay, and they're going to ask you why. Okay, explain. Why can Sue use the 3-centimeter square? You would say, Sue can use the 3-centimeter square because, okay, there would be 24, okay, there would be 24 centimeters, right? 24 centimeters. And there would be 12 centimeters going down. Okay, do you know how many total squares that would be if you counted them? Can you count them? 8 on every row times 4 rows, 32. Very good. There'd be 32 squares. 32 squares. Okay, so let's move on to number B. If you need to press pause there, okay? Now let's do the same thing, and this time let's see if we can try the 4-centimeter tile across, okay? I'm going to get a new rectangle. This time I want to see if I can use the 4-centimeter across. Remember, by the time I get to the end, I have to be at what number? 24. Very good. Okay, this time the tiles are a little bit bigger. Okay, so the first centimeter I would draw would be 4. They have to be the same size. Okay, and then what's 4 plus 4? 8. Very good. 8. Okay. And then add another 4, which would give me 12. Okay. Add another 4, and I would get 16. Add another 4, and I would have 20. And then one more 4, and that would give me 24. Okay. So did I get to the same number? And I measured across. Did I get to the 24? Yes. Okay. So would this one work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, there would be 6 tiles in row number 1. Now the question is I have to have 12 at the bottom. Okay. Now, what would 4 plus 4 be? 8. Very good. Okay. And then another one. 8 plus 4 would be 12. Okay, 12. So that would work as well. Yes, very good. Okay, so if I were going to draw out my rows, how many rows would I draw? I've got 1 at the top, 2, and 3. Very good. Now, I'm not using this part at the bottom. If I were to draw out my columns, how many would I draw out? Not 8. Like last time, I'd draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would draw 6. Very good. So would 4 centimeter tiles work? Yes. I've got 4 centimeter tiles and 3 centimeter tiles. What's the difference between the two? These squares are bigger than these squares. These are 4 centimeter tiles, and these are 3. They're smaller. Perfect. Okay, pause if you need to. And we're going to go to the last part of the question. Now, they want you to repeat, it says, the same thing. This time, use the 5 centimeter tiles across. Okay, so we're getting a little bit bigger. These are worth 5 centimeters, okay? Remember, I'm trying to get to 24. What would I put for the next tile? 5 and 5 is 10, okay? 10 and 5 is 15. 15 and 5 is 20. And 20 plus 5 is 25. Does that equal 24? No. So I need to do the same thing going down. 5 and 5 would be 10. And 10 and 5 is 15. So here I would need the number 12. I don't have a 12. I have a 15. Here I would need the number 24. So is the 5 centimeter tile going to work? No, it will not work. So when you write the answer for part C, you can write the 5 centimeter tile squares will not work. They will not fit in the rectangle. Okay? They will not fit in the rectangle. You did a great job with that. Okay? You did a great job with that. Now, there will be a math page on the Google Classroom that you have to mark turned in. Each day there was a homework, and Ms. McGiller will grade those. Okay, she will grade each one to make sure that you have completed them. Make sure that you are completing them to get your grade. You definitely don't want a 0 on those. Okay, so mark turn in, not till you have completed them. Okay, not until you have completed them. All right. You get the next part and your next star of the unicorn. You got the head, and now you get the tail. Very good. Okay, you get the tail part of the unicorn. Keep working hard. Mason, are you ready? I had a guest today I wanted to bring in because we've been studying and reading. If you need to press pause, please do so now and take your quick break and come right back. Okay. You guys have met my oldest son in school. And so some of you have been asking for days and days to me about meeting the youngest son. So I thought I'd bring him in for an activity as we do something together to review. This is Mason. Mason is my youngest, and he also, like you, has been schooling at home. Okay. He has had distance learning at home. Now I asked Mason to come in for something to review with me. Okay, so I'm going to unplug my mics and I'm going to, hopefully you can hear him.